to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're going to roll call, let the record reflect that all are present except for Director Sather. All here, no student representation. All right, it looks like. 5.0 agenda additions and deletions. I guess I would like Jeff to add a little comment or add to the agenda discussion about the study session we just had prior, the filming of the study session, I guess, just this small discussion. Yeah.
I have a couple.
Okay.
Under 12.3, the wrong job description was included in the packet. So the one on the table, it says district-wide. The correct one in the top. And then it was also requested that the old one be included, so the one that was approved on the bottom is the old one. And then we can eliminate 12.7.
Motion to add.
If I could just see 8.0 being my first meeting as the treasurer. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, so I don't know if we take that off or if someone can give me some information to pass on.
I should have put them to me.
Yeah, I guess like that. When you want massage, you know, you guys are probably going over it, but.
Did you not go, did you go see
Well, yeah, I did.
Motion to go over that.
You just said sign these, so.
If you signed up on it, pretty much what Bill just always did was went over the numbers on the new page.
I just do the bottom of the receipts.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that.
Sorry about that, Mark. I thought that was taken care of.
We'll make sure that it happens for the next time.
Yes.
I'll be prepared.
It's kind of my fault. I should have maybe met with you.
So what's added to the agenda so far?
I just added, under 12.3, I changed the job description, and 12.7 is removed.
And then we're adding,
And we're adding 12.8 for discussion on filming study session.
12.8.
is that a motion?
Can I get a motion to approve?
To add something, a
Do we
motion?
need to make the motion?
Sure do.
Then I will make the motion to add 12.8 discussion on filming of, even though you were adding it, but.
Okay,
Were you
I'll
gonna make the
support.
motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, and I will support it.
Okay, all right.
How do you vote?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I have a deletion suggestion for the agenda. I don't believe that 12.3, 12.4, and 12.5, I think that should be deleted. I don't think that we can act on those yet because I don't believe that the grievance procedure in the contract, I don't think it falls in line with the grievance process. I believe, from what I understand, his grievance is in step 3, and the next step would be arbitration if the grievant so desired. And so I think to go take this action before this is worked out with the Ed Minnesota is
Right.
premature.
I can't work anything out unless this stuff is passed, and no, this isn't the end of it,
But have you discussed it with them? Have you discussed it that it would be acceptable? And then we could bring it back and we'd say, okay, you know, that if we agreed we could pass these. Isn't that the essence of the whole grievance? These job procedures and the job duties, and whether we would add 2 more hours or hire a new media specialist? We haven't had that conversation. I don't think it's appropriate at this time.
take them off.
you have had discussions, so correct? Have you had discussions regarding those things?
And we're not, I mean, and like I said, we're not done yet. This was part of it, and we saw that.
I guess,
Take it off.
I guess my only, can we be having discussion on this right now? Okay.
Well, I move to delete that at this time because I just think we're in the middle of a grievance process and it's not the right time.
So we got a motion on the table to delete 12.3, 4, and 5.
12.3, 4, and 5.
Go ahead.
I guess I don't know what to do in this situation because I'd like to have more discussion about it rather than just deleting it. I'd rather have more discussion on it. So if it comes to personally, if it comes to a vote to approve and any board member is against it, then you'd vote no.
Well, I'd change my motion then to postpone it until, to a specific date, maybe the next board meeting, until there's time to see if the process is followed. It's in this process right now. Step 3 is over, arbitration. If the respondent of the chief administrative officer or designee is not, if the response is not received within a period provided in step 3 or is not satisfactory, the exclusive rep may serve notice of intent to refer the case to arbitration within so many days. So that's, we don't even know. Yeah. That's my, let's go.
Is there a way to have some discussion prior to, can we bump those 12.2 or 12.3, 12.4, 12.5? Can we bump that down some numbers and do it 12.9? Can we bump it down some numbers and have a discussion on it? Because I'd rather have a discussion. I'd like to have a discussion on, I'd like to clarify a couple of things myself. And I mean, if Polly is correct on that, on the grievance thing, I guess I don't know enough on whether or not what the information Polly is giving us is correct information or not. I don't.
What you have in front of you, 12, 3, 4, and 5 are my recommendations for changes to what we currently do. And part of the reason is because I'm trying to resolve the grievance. That's part of it. It's not all of it.
Okay.
And have those recommendations, again, served in a written response to them?
Yes.
We were all, were we all not copied on an email on that? That either you sent or?
I don't, because I mean, there's no place in the contract that says the board is negotiating agreements.
And that's the point.
So if they're leaving it, would you rather change their motion to table in there?
I don't want to table it either. Because tabling it means that we're not going to address it and we need to
Table
address
means
it.
you put it at the end of the meeting. To postpone just means you're going to set a date in the future to address it, and maybe with more information.
That would be the board more time.
That's all the intent of that.
Didn't we just vote on amending the agenda?
Oh, we didn't vote yet,
No,
'cause
not yet.
we're not done adding or deleting yet.
Yeah. Okay, so here's my, where are we supposed to have discussion on this? Because if we're out of order here, I want to make sure that we get back on track.
We're in
So
additions and
my-
deletions, and I had a motion made, don't have a second yet. I amended it to postpone and not delete.
And I don't want to postpone it. I mean, I would like to continue, I would like to have a discussion on it, a further discussion in a manner that we are okay in following.
The grievance
Well,
process, I would say.
She's got a motion on the table, waiting for a second, then you can have a discussion about it.
It might not pass.
Okay.
I'll second it.
So the motion on the table is to,
Postpone action on those 3 items until the next meeting, when there'd be some time for the administration and Ed Minnesota to go through this process.
I mean, I feel that, I feel that.
So are we on to discussion?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so there's a
Okay.
motion to postpone,
Second by
a
Tom.
second by Tom.
So any
Any discussion?
Right, and so we're in the discussion part of it. That I feel that we are in this predicament because we approved a media specialist, and if I remember, or if I say this correct, Jeff, but I said at the meeting that I asked if we had this position, hired for this position a while back, that there was going to be no problems with contractual issues. Well, that proved to be wrong. Now we got a grievance process going on with these job descriptions. I feel that we should look at this a little more closely so we can get the grievance over, so we can keep moving. I mean, I don't know what sort of more issues we could generate by approving these.
In my discussion would be that I understand what Jeff is saying about how it's his job as a superintendent to negotiate with them, but we've also been copied on an email regarding what has been accepted, I guess I would say, what has been discussed and a solution found to some parts, but I sent an email today in regard to some other questions that I didn't see any response to. That would be my concern, is that there's a few things that there were questions about that maybe weren't responded to yet. So
That's a good example, Brandy, because there are questions yet. And then we didn't get, I requested this today and for everybody to get it, the description of Clerk C. We have a recommendation to give extra hours to Para C, which to me I think is Clerk C, which wasn't in our packet, plus those questions that you're talking about. Plus today we got now the district-wide, we got a different job description here today between me Christians. So would it be appropriate for, I know Lee Zeka's in the audience, appropriate for her to make a statement about this?
Not in the least, because
I would allow that.
we're not
I would allow that.
negotiating agreements. in
Well, see,
public.
and that's
yeah,
my point.
I think that is that not a legal issue?
That's my point. It's not, let's vote on it.
Let's at
We're
the
not
stage
ready
that
yet.
this grievance is at, could this not possibly go to arbitration?
That's the next step that they have as an option.
So, that's right. So this grievance should be settled before.
I feel that the board needs a little more information on this so we can make sure everybody's on the same
Yeah,
page
we
before
all
we,
make-
but it's my opinion, before we approve something. I mean, I guess if there's a grievance going on, I think with the issues that are going on within our district, I think that maybe approving this might create some sort of, I think that we should table it or till we can have a meeting on this, Jeff, or have a special meeting in regards to this, so we can all, so everybody's, so we as the board members and the superintendent, we're all on the same page, so we don't create any more issues.
I would just like to say that I support your job duties and doing what you're supposed to do. But I guess I feel like there are a few questions that I have that I probably wouldn't feel 100% comfortable making these decisions on, not knowing what the grievance process necessarily is. So it's not anything about how you did or did not do something. It's more, I don't have enough knowledge on, on the grievance procedures to feel comfortable enough to make that.
And I agree, Brandy, I do.
So the motion on the table,
Well,
We're saying
I
different.
think Jeff was going to say something. I'd like to.
This is the alternative, you can just hire another media specialist then if you want.
And that is another alternative. That's exactly what it is, because that was mentioned in these communications.
So how are we going to address this? Are we going to have a committee meeting upcoming to talk about this further? Does it have to be a closed thing? I mean, can we even be having these discussions if it's a grievance?
I'm just making recommendations for how we can move on.
I think we should have a meeting, I think that we should have more discussion on this. Because I'm not quite totally sure what, what the ramifications were if we approve this.
I guess this is one of those situations where if this was a concern prior to this meeting, it would have been great if that was brought to the attention of the superintendent or the chair, so that we could have put this on the committee, the meeting prior to our regular board meeting.
There wasn't time for that,
Because it just
Brandy.
seems like now we're pushing that further out. and-
Brandy, there wasn't time for that. The 3-day notice to change an agenda. There wasn't time for that. We can do it now. We can put it on the next study session, or I'm suggesting the next board meeting.
But
That's exactly the reason.
I guess I would just, I don't know. I mean, you as chair, did you get to see any of this agenda information prior? Did you have questions about it?
No,
I'm just
no.
making a point that we need to, if there's questions on something, we need to talk to the superintendent so that we can put it on the committee meeting.
Okay.
So we don't have to push.
Just vote on it. I mean,
Okay, so the
Things
motion on
on-
the, excuse me, I'm sorry, Brad.
That's okay. You're
The
fine.
motion on the table is to,
Postpone till the next meeting until there can be more
Okay.
information
Okay.
and
Yeah.
discussion by whatever the proper channels are.
so it's been motion by Sorkin, second by Tom. Any more discussion on this?
So this motion pertains specifically to items 12.3 to 12.5 on the agenda. It has nothing to do with 12.7 or adding
No.
12.8.
Correct.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. So those are deleted, or those are tabled until further discussion, right? Or not tabled, those are postponed for further discussion. Okay. 6.0 visitor input.
Nope.
All right. 7.0, approve the agenda.
I'll move.
Are you moving
Okay.
with the additions?
We have the additions and the deletions, yeah, the changes, yes.
I'll support.
Okay, so we got a motion by Sorkin and second by Lotiger to approve the agenda with the exception of 12.2, 12.4, 12.5, and with the addition of 12.8. Any discussion?
And elimination of 12.7.
And elimination of 12.7 too, okay. With the elimination of 12.4
You didn't say 12.2, you said 12.3, 12.4.
and 12.5, yep,
Okay.
and 12.7.
Okay.
And with the addition of 12.8.
Okay.
Any-
I think you misspoke and said 12.2, so just as long as we're clear, it's 12.3, 12.4, 12.5.
I probably misspoke. Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 8.0, approve the treasurer's report. Would you like me to do that for you, Jeff?
I would defer to the chair.
Okay. All right, for the month of January, we had total receipts of $955,656.14, disbursements of $613,024.04, a payroll of $684,796.43. With our check balances in the miners bank of $3,507,640.69, the First National Bank $2,058,377.70, for the total between the Gilbert Bank and the Miners Bank of Eveleth of $5,566,000 $18.39 for the month of January. For the first check writing of February, the total disbursements of $318,740.59. Can I get a motion to approve the treasury report?
Also move we approve the treasurer's report as reported by the board chair.
Second.
Any discussion on the treasurer's report? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 9.0 consent agenda. Approve the minutes of the regular meeting from Monday, January 28, 2019. Approve the head volleyball coach resignation. And C, accept donations of $700 from Target Field Trips.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda with the letter of thanks for the donation, as well as a letter of thanks to the head volleyball coach. She did a great job. I thank her for her commitment and dedication.
I will second that with the letter of thanks to that head volleyball coach. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 10.0, items removed from the consent agenda. There was none. 11.0, personnel. And you got 11.1 here, none. Okay. 12.0, new business. Approve changes in the high school CP grading policy. 12, okay. 12. New business. 12.1, approve changes in the high school CP class grading policy.
You want to add anything? Principal Williams.
No, that will just be putting weighted grading to our concurrent enrollment classes that we have. An A in a concurrent enrollment class would not be a 4.0, but be a 4.5. So we'll be weighting those classes that are concurrent enrollment.
Okay, so
So would each grade be increased by
A 0.5.
0.5?
okay, can I?
I will make a motion to approve changes to the high school CEP class grading policy.
I will second it. Any discussion?
I'd just say I think it's a great idea and long overdue.
Yep. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 12.2, approve change to minimum class requirements for students.
Principal Williams, you want to add anything?
No, I don't think I need to add anything for that one.
This is
So
all
basically
something
what you're going to be voting on here is currently we require 24 credits for grades 9 through 12 to graduate. We offer 7 credits per year. If students are in good academic standing in 11th and 12th grade, if they've taken 7 courses in their 9th and 10th grade years, we would allow them, instead of, right now it's mandatory that they take 6 credits a year, we would allow them to only take 5 their junior and senior year if they're in good standing. They could take a second study hall. That's the change.
Okay, 12.2, approve changes to the minimum class requirements for students. Can I get a motion to approve that?
I'll move.
I'll support.
Any discussion?
I just have a follow-up. I think it would be good to keep a track record of maybe the couple of previous years that led up to this change, and then to see what effect it may or may not have had going forward. Just kind of keep track of it.
Yeah, and the funny thing, since I've been here, it actually got changed to this. We're changing it back to where it was. Our previous high school principal wanted to go this direction, and we found it happened just that we were worried that we were losing all of our electives by only allowing them to take 5. As it turns out, they were leaving anyway. So we'll see what happens when we go back.
It'd just be good to know that this change has actually helped, or,
Yeah.
Any more discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 12.3, 12.4, 12.5 have been deleted. from the agenda. 12.6, discussion regarding collaboration.
Go ahead.
Oh, I have just some discussion over what direction this board really wants to go as far as our elementaries and where you'd want to see our school district. I mean, I will say it again, and I'll say it 100 times over. I'm for this academy, but what we do with our elementaries and what we do with where this elementary is, I think it's if we decide to do anything with our elementaries. I don't know if it's premature to say that we would do something right away with them. You know, I guess we haven't had this discussion as a board of what to do.
I think we
Yeah.
should do something with them. I think it's long overdue. I think we should do something with them. As far as what, I don't know what the answer is. I don't know if we should put on the ballot 2 different options, because I have heard from people who would like to see a super elementary. But I have also talked to a lot of people who would rather have their elementary school in their town, and they want their small kids to be able to walk to school here, or you know, just to have less numbers for the educational piece, you know, having less kids in the school. So I don't know what the answer is, and I don't know if that's something we can put on the ballot. Having 2 different options and see what happens. I don't know how that's all going to pan out, but I do think that we need to do something. Whether it's each district has their own elementary remodeled or built new, whatever the case may be, and or having, like it was said earlier, you know, like a super elementary or something on the same campus as the academy. I don't know what the right answer is, and my hope was that the survey would tell us that. I think the survey did tell us a lot of information, valuable information, but, you know, if people have argument over that survey that was sent out, whether it be, you know, people could call and get more or whatever the case may be, the only answer to this situation is to let it go out to a vote of the citizens, and
So
that's my feeling.
what should our options be? I mean, for our district, because it's been made very clear that by the Virginia board that they don't care what we do with our district. You know, they say, well, that's up to you. It's up to you guys to deal with your elementaries. Well, I mean, there's many options that we can do. I mean, there's many options that we have. I mean, we can, you know, we could remodel both campuses, Eveleth and Gilbert, and have K through 6, or you know, K through 3 and 3 through 6. Okay, that doesn't solve any transportation issues on our end. We can, I mean, I think of this in a business aspect for, you know, really want our kids, you know, going back and forth. You know, you want your kids to walk to school. Or you can take another option of getting rid of both buildings and building a brand new building on a neutral site between Eveleth and Gilbert. That's an option. You just completely knock Gilbert down and build an Eveleth. You completely knock Eveleth down and build in Gilbert. Or for me, as in all fairness, that if you were going to build an academy, I would suggest to this board that we really look at, if we're going to do something, that I suggest we put our elementary on that campus so our kids ain't on the bus all day. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the whole transportation issue over this town, that town, that town, this town, in the center, in the middle. I mean, does it really, are you really, I mean, bottom dollar, what's going to make the district the most efficient? What's going to make it the most efficient?
I don't think it just comes down to the bottom dollar, though. I mean, I'm looking at it from an educational perspective and what's best for little kids.
I mean, if you were going to build a brand new building here, or you're going to build it over there, or you're going to build it in the middle between here and there, wouldn't you want to build, I mean, to me, I would build it where the high school is.
Yeah.
That's me.
I mean, it's an option.
That's me.
It's an option, so if we can, throw that out as an option, but...
I thought that wasn't an option. I thought they made it pretty clear last Tuesday that any site that they chose was suitable barely for the high school that they wanted, or the
That's
academy.
what you don't want. I mean, I mean...
There was no land that would accommodate both elementary and high school.
well, then that's when you have to really start looking at other, I mean, that's when I would start looking at a big piece of property.
I think as a board, I think we should, instead of, throwing it to the voters with
Mhm.
5, 6, 7 different options, us as a board ought to, brainstorm and eliminate some of those options for them and just give them a couple. I thought last Tuesday was very informative and very well done, and the students, first of all, did a great job, I thought, with all their presentations, and I don't know, I thought that they spelled out what the best way to go would be an elementary, here in elementary in Virginia, and a.
I mean, but I guess, John, they're going on the recommendations of what the committees, basically, I mean, there hasn't been a whole lot of options, I mean, a whole lot of given to them.
Well, I thought it was not just the committees, but also what the
Survey said.
the survey and the recommendations from the architect
Absolutely.
and the contractor.
Yeah, I agree.
But then I guess on this,
Construction manager, I should say.
I guess on that, Matt, I mean, on the survey wasn't really, I mean, I'm not going to say that the survey was wrong or anything was wrong with it, but yeah, there was a few questions that could have been, it would have been nice if there was more options on that survey that could have
But
opened it up.
hindsight is always 20/20.
Absolutely, I agree that.
And I did watch, I did watch half of the Tuesday meeting because I was not able to attend, but I watched half of that meeting, and I recall Dr. Schmidt saying that, the same thing. Hindsight's always 20/20, and other questions are always going to come up throughout this process. But I do value that survey. I do value that, and like I said, I don't know what the right decision is as far as if we put a K through 12 or K through 6 on the same site as the academy. But what I'm hearing here is that that's not that wasn't something that was recommended. And I would support having an elementary school in each district. We've had this discussion before about having, 2 elementary schools. That's been brought up in our district, one in Eveleth and one in Gilbert. And I don't know if that's I don't think that's the right thing. I'm not going to say I don't know. I don't think that's the right idea. Because you're having to have people choose whether they're going to go to Gilbert or they're going to go to Eveleth, and they're going to make a choice based on, most of the people I would say are going to make a choice based on where their kids' friends are going. And I don't want to end up in a position where there's, one section being offered at another, whether it's Eveleth or Gilbert. If there's only one section, then we end up with 8 kids in that class.
But there has to be some sort of or there has to be some, basically, bylaws wrote up for the fact that the open enrollment issue.
But the open enrollment issue is a state issue. That's not our issue. It's...
Well, no, between Eveleth and Gilbert. Not Eveleth and Gilbert, but Virginia in our district.
And it was mentioned about having some sort of contract or something brought up. I remember that being a discussion that would happen. But we're talking right now, not between Eveleth, Gilbert, and Virginia.
Right.
Our discussion is between the Gilbert campus
Right.
and the Eveleth campus and putting an elementary on both campuses. That's what we're discussing right now.
But
What if we had a campus, like I said, you're making people choose, are they going to go to Gilbert or are they going to go to Eveleth?
Or they go to Virginia.
Or they go to Virginia.
Or they go to Virginia.
And that's what a lot of the Gilbert students are doing now. They're going to Virginia.
And that's terrible.
And well, more of them do that so it does play into the discussion.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
so you got this campus here, you just renovated, and now you lost 50% of your students. And now they're complaining of overcrowding, and it would be hard for them to, you got to throw that out there. You cannot talk about it. You cannot not talk about it.
But also, I will say that, I've worked in the school district, and Gilbert is kind of an island of its own. And I think that, I don't know, I don't want to speak for all the teachers, but I do think there's plenty of teachers that would like to see them all housed under one roof, under one roof, and not have a campus in Gilbert and a campus in Eveleth, just for the collaboration, communication, everything. So I think it's in the best interest to have one elementary school
So where do
in
we?
each town,
Okay,
or, you know, in each district.
okay, so where would be the best, I mean, what would be the best scenario if it moved in that direction? What would you build a brand new building somewhere? Or would you?
Well, I think the discussion was that if we built a brand-new building for the K through 6, it would be about the same amount, dollar amount, as if we renovated,
Heavily.
Eveleth.
correct?
The cost to renovate Eveleth, I do believe, was the cost to build new.
So,
Heavily. Lightly, not so much.
Well, my opinion, I've been in this, with this facility committee from day one.
did
And
you
at
attend
that
all the
point,
meetings?
pardon
Were
me?
you at all those facility meetings?
Not all of them, but most of them that I could make. But I want to just iterate to the board that at the very first one, that I suggested, in order to give the constituents a good view and make sure that they all understand what is transpiring here, that we also have a professional firm that specializes in renovation. And Dr. Schmidt agreed. Okay? Now, the way this facility committee went, I went through the buildings, I went through Virginia, I've been through our buildings. That committee did not have one good item, one good word about any of our buildings. Not that they've been here 100 years. I mean, that doesn't count, you know. They're not fit for education. They're not doing this. It's build new, build new. Now, we've got 180 going on. Now we're talking renovation.
So when you were at that
But-
meeting, what was their response to you? What was everybody's response to you at that meeting?
At
When you
that
brought
meeting
that up?
on renovating, okay, ICS put out the question. Raise your hand, everybody that's in favor of renovating. Not one hand came up. Okay. Are we giving the people a full view here of what it's going to cost to renovate if we don't get a good professional firm that goes through this and come up with a recommendation? Isn't that the best way to keep the public informed? No, it's dollars and cents this way. It's a proven fact, the building does not make a world-class school. The teachers make a world-class school. Dr. Schmidt agreed with me on that Tuesday night. Did you get that when you played back that tape?
I only watched half of
Oh,
that so
okay.
far.
So, I'm getting input too. Hey, we don't need new building. What's wrong with our buildings? They're good enough. They can be renovated, you know. But,
I don't want to provide our kids good enough.
well, I don't know. It's my opinion that the voters, before they vote, they should have the full story, not just the viewpoint of building new. And now our buildings were shot. Now we're talking, oh, now we're going to renovate them. And who come up with those figures? Are they experienced in this? I mean, even on a committee. I mean, I appreciate the time that the people put in to these committees. And they put time in it. But what was the expertise? Was there any engineers or structural engineers on them committees? No. They're just average citizens. I'm not an expert in buildings. I know electrical, and they condemned our electrical. I was an electrical contractor. Well, our electrical systems are all shot, Virginia and Eveleth. I mean, I could see the writing on the wall here. My opinion.
As far as structurally, I mean, nobody said that there aren't structurally. I mean, ICS and Cross Anderson both went through them and agreed that, I mean, you can, for the right price, you can remodel anything.
Yeah,
It's just a matter of if you want to do that or not.
I'm going by, I've been on the board, going 7 years. I've been told by architects too, and other people, it's less money to renovate than it does to build new. New buildings last 30 to 35 years. Our buildings have been here for 100 years. And I said this before, right at the meetings. I've been in buildings in Europe that are 400 or 500 years old. I've been over bridges that the Romans built. I mean, you have to maintain them correct. And look at what's going on with our new schools? What's going on up there in Cook? Is that 75 years old? They're condemning that building. You can't close the doors. You can't drink the water. And some of these other buildings that have been built new, they don't last. So there's pros and cons here. I don't think they've explored the whole potential of this thing. Keeping the buildings that we have. I don't know. It's my opinion. I've been through the meetings too.
What were you going to say, John?
I don't know, I forgot, it'll come back to me.
I don't know. I don't want to provide good enough.
Is there a question that, okay, IRRB, that's called Cooperation and Consolidation Money, the BOC fund. Well, if we both do something to our elementaries, that's not cooperating in any way. Would that part be covered by the IRRB funds? To me, that question hasn't been answered yet.
Well, regardless of the sum, our final dollar amount, their contribution doesn't change. So, does that help?
No. Their dollar amount or their portion?
Their portion.
Their portion is different than a total dollar amount. Because now, in the 185 or 165 or whatever it is, that's including our elementary, whatever we...
Those are new elementaries, yeah.
No, well, one is a highly renovated elementary, and then one is new elementary on the site. But we aren't cooperating with the elementaries. That's why I'm wondering if that would even be included in their contribution. Because it's not collaboration or cooperation or consolidation of the elementaries. Anybody ever asked that question?
Well, what I'm telling you though is it doesn't matter if we just build a high school or if we build 3 elementaries. Their contribution isn't going to change.
Their dollar amount or their portion of the cooperative?
The amount of money that they give us
Well,
toward this bond is not going to change.
well, I know that's what you're saying, but that's not the question I'm asking.
Well, that's the
It's
answer.
$4.9 million a year for 20 years. Built into that is each district doing something separately with their elementaries. There's no cooperation there. There's no consolidation there. That's just the
Well,
question.
we don't know that there's not a consolidation.
Well, I mean,
That
at
has
this
been
point in
discussed,
time,
No, you're right.
right now. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
But I think what
Okay.
the superintendent is saying is that amount, whether it's the 712 facility with all the extras and 2 new elementary schools, or whether it's the 712 bare bones 712 facility with no extras and no elementary
Yeah,
schools.
I'm not sure that's the case, though. They said it was only for collaboration and
That's what-
cooperation, and there's 2 parts of it. One is for brick and mortar, and one is for cooperating and collaborating on curriculum, or, you know.
I guess when we sat at that meeting and when in the survey said that everybody wanted to consolidate, you know, the percentage of people that want to consolidate Eveleth, Gilbert, and Virginia, the 2 districts together, it was said at that meeting that you had to cooperate before you could consolidate, which I kind of like, I didn't quite understand why that would be an issue.
Thought that pertained to the state money.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what I did see that part in that video too. There was a discussion in there. It has to do with the wording and the,
Of that amount, about 6 million a year is coming from the state, which that number would, if we consolidated before the vote, that number would be drastically reduced. Because Virginia's end up carrying most of the debt.
Right.
Because they're property poor.
Right.
Poorer than we are.
So they get equalization money, correct?
They get more equalization money than we do.
But nobody has to pay more, so they don't have to
Right,
pay more.
right.
Nor does Eveleth or Gilbert
No.
residents.
Right,
It kind of doesn't matter.
right.
I think that-
It does matter if we consolidate beforehand, because then it does become an issue.
Although Noel said between the 2 districts, we get $4 million for consolidation and cooperation, or like pairing and sharing and consolidating, but that's only probably a one-time.
400,000. 400,000.
What did I say?
4 million.
Oh, I didn't mean 4 million. I meant 400,000.
It's about $200 a student
Right,
for 2 to
yeah.
4 courses.
I mean, so the discussion on the, regarding the collaboration, I mean, I guess we're going to have to, we're going to have to figure out what we want to do as a district, because it's been pretty well set in stone what Virginia wants to do, and I mean, we haven't really had this discussion about where we want to go as a district. What do we
So-
want to do?
So I was thinking, one of the things that was in my, we'll finish up these listening sessions tomorrow, and we're going to do some other things to garner some information. How about next Monday, just this board meets, and then on the 25th, we're going to do a joint meeting,
Next Monday would be what, the 18th?
18th.
I'm out of town next month.
And isn't that a holiday?
Oh, is it?
Oh, yeah,
you're
Friday,
right.
Monday,
Well, how
yeah.
about Tuesday?
Let's pick a day where everybody can be here.
I'm available.
Huh?
I'm available.
On the
Next
19th?
Thursday, I'd be available.
Oh, I can't make Thursday.
Before we have the joint meeting, you guys should meet
I agree.
And the
Talk
joint
about
meeting is on the 28th,
25th
25th of,
February.
Isn't that next Thursday?
Oh, Thursday, I am out of town.
When will Kelly be back?
She'll be back this week.
so the 25th is the collaborative
Yeah.
meeting.
Wednesday won't work?
We can do Wednesday.
I mean,
Wednesday,
I
I'm
can do
available.
Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Wednesday's fine with me. Next Wednesday?
Sure.
Okay.
Can we do it at 5?
5. Next Wednesday at 5.
And we are going to continue this discussion?
We're just going to talk about elementaries and land.
And land. And as
I-
far, no, before we get off, before we get off track, I mean, let's not get too taken away from the fact that if we're going to work together as two districts, and there's this chunk of land, I guess there's other options. There's other, not other options, but there's other land available. Yeah, it's nice over there by the Slumberland area, but it's a small piece of property. It's a small piece of property. It's not big. It's not big at all by no means.
But they said all 7 sites had issues. Whether it was mineral
I know,
rights
but-
or
I know, but
size
7
considerations or whatever.
Yeah,
And
I'd like to see a schematic on that, because there's all kinds of land back there.
there's all kinds of land. According to the fee office, there's lots of land available.
Back by
Up-
Slumberland, I'm talking
Up,
about.
yeah, and there's up off of Borgen Road, there's 2 pieces of state land. There's land over by Gilbert, there's land between Eveleth and Gilbert, there's land over here at Highway 7 and 101. Yeah, we can throw the train track issue in there, but there's schools built by train tracks all the time.
Yeah.
They're hauling chemicals or whatever, and everybody worries, it's an inconvenience if you're trying to get kids in and out of school and you're located next to train tracks, but I'm just saying, we worry too much about how long it's going to take for a student to get to school than their education. You know what I'm saying? We're worried, it's going to take 8 minutes more, or it's going to take 4 minutes more. That's not what it's about. It's about giving the kids the opportunity, regardless of how long it takes to get there. Yeah, maybe it's going to take this person a little bit longer, but this person is closer. There's a give and take. You have to explore. There's lands available, and let's put it on a list. Like I said, I'm not really against that property, but there's no room to spread your wings on that piece of property. There's no room for the district to grow. If we become one, then it's like, well, what do you do? Well, we bought a small piece of property, 37% of, what was the percentage of wetlands on that piece of property?
There's about 30 acres of wetlands on it.
30 acres of wetlands out of a total of?
65, 70, somewhere in
That's
there.
more than almost close to 50% wetlands.
50%.
How many, and there's...
It's the location though, Bill. It's a pretty awesome location.
Yeah, but, so you got, how many acres again? You said,
About 65 to 70,
60?
depending if we could get, it has to be parceled. There's some,
I just don't feel that, it's gonna be a tiny spot. It's a tiny spot. You're gonna put this nice, you're gonna put this beautiful building. Yeah, I understand the location, I get that.
we're currently sitting on 12 acres, just as a comparison.
Mhm.
Yeah, I guess I'd have to see how everything sits out, or some potential schematics of, I don't know if that'd
We'll
be
talk about
all
land next Wednesday, though. How about that?
Okay.
I will contact John and we'll have some maps here.
I did have a question. Tom, you had your 35 years of, a new building last 35 years. Do you have any numbers how long your renovations would last? How long if you renovate one of these elementaries? I was just kicking the can down the road, I mean,
There are firms out there, John, that...
I thought if you had the 35 years up for the buildings, you might have that number.
I've got that number from the ISD here a while back,
Okay.
architects.
All right.
But making the point, there are firms that renovate that specialize in this.
Sure.
And they make guarantees. And
Yeah.
they guarantee that, okay, we're going to save you $1 million. Okay? And you only save, after renovation, you only save 500,000. They are bonded and insured. They pay you that other 500,000. They back up what they say.
Yeah.
That's a guarantee.
Yeah. That's not answering my question, though.
Yeah.
I mean, how long would your renovation last if
Well, your renovation, it'll probably go another 100 years, too. They've been here 100 years now, John.
Yeah.
You renovate them, they'll go another 100 years.
Yeah, I understand.
Does that answer your question now?
Well,
maybe?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at that
I'm just-
point, all the HVAC and the boiler or whatever heating system, it would be all brand new, just like a new school. So it would have the same lifespan as a new school when it's going to be a new and a renovated. I mean, that's how I see it, if that answers your question.
Yeah. I just wanted to know if you had the numbers.
Well,
It's been also mentioned that the new buildings go 75 years, but I haven't seen that yet either. On these new buildings that have been built, these new schools, they haven't been around for 75 years yet.
Yeah.
And they're being demolished. Okay?
Well, I would just hope that if whatever the board decides versus renovation versus building new, that we don't run into the situation we had with just the what do you call that little area by the Franklin? You know, I mean, we had a renovation there, where you had the walk we were just.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there was you know, according to the architect that said that wasn't, I mean, according to the architect, that when that part was built, that it wasn't built to the architect's specifications. So the water from the sill by the windows had flowed, the sills were leaning the wrong way. Is that what it was stated?
Yeah, they had lifted and it was basically running into the
wall. I mean, we would hope that if we do any renovations or whatever the board decides to do, that we hire the best possible contractor that will give us the best guarantee. Cheaper's not always better.
Get what you pay for.
That's absolutely. I mean, if you get something, I mean, it just seems like some of the stuff that was done was probably, you know, yeah, I mean, I understand things, you know, outlive their usefulness, you know, but it just seemed that just some of the work was, according to the report we had from that addition that was put up, that it was basically, I mean, they were one sentence away from saying that the work was shoddy, you know? So, anyway, has nothing to do with this discussion, I guess, but anyway.
All right.
So,
Moving on.
12.8.
Next Wednesday.
yep, 12.8, okay. Requested by Brandy that we have some discussion on the video.
12.7?
I mean,
Oh, I see.
12.7 was
Removed.
removed.
Oh, sorry, yeah, I forgot to accept.
Okay, so 12.6, okay, we've discussed.
Yeah.
12.8, just a discussion on the videoing of the last study session. Ready?
I thought you were gonna discuss that.
Okay, well, I guess when I got here, Director Laudiger had come up to me and just mentioned something about filming that
Of the committee meeting?
of the committee meetings. That when did what did you say to me that?
When did we decide that we were going to start videotaping committee
And I
meetings?
said, and I was thrown by that. I did not know. So I mean,
The board did not decide,
okay.
because I usually film study sessions and committee meetings myself. My camera is, my cord is shot, my batteries are shot, so I called Hugo and I asked him if he could cover that for me tonight as a member of the public, because I couldn't do it. And that brings up another good question, is I would like to suggest to this board that you start having official recordings of your study sessions and your committee meetings. So I don't have to do it, because I do intend to continue doing it if the board does not, you know.
Sorry to interrupt you. My concern is that Hugo videotapes our regular meetings, and we pay him to do that. And I think that,
He's not getting paid for this tonight. He's doing it as a person in the public. And as,
videotaping the committee meeting.
yes, the one today. Hmm?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
For nothing, just like I do.
Because it just, I mean, it's hard to separate if he's video recording our, regular meetings and then recording our committee meeting as a personal favor to you. It's just, I guess it's a blurred line.
Well, you could have asked him, why he was...
Well, I did ask. When I came in, he was setting up his machine, and I asked him if we're videotaping our committee meetings now. And he had said that you had requested that he come and record it.
In my loop.
And it's not that it's a big deal. My whole point is that if that, he is somebody we hire as a school district to tape our regular meetings. And again, it would seem as though if he was recording that we were paying for it.
No, that was
So
not
it
the
was
case.
just it's a blurred line.
No,
So.
yeah, it was not the case, and he can wear two hats just like anyone else could, so I see no problem with it at all.
So to answer your question about whether I knew he was going to be here, that question would be no. I had no clue that.
And again,
It would
it's
be-
not a big deal. I just think that we should have that discussion as a board then. If he was going to videotape, then we need to have that discussion as a board, if that's what we want to do for our committee
And
meetings.
I think
because
we
it is-
should have that discussion.
If we're going to hire him.
Right,
Right.
right, if you're going to hire, yeah. I mean, it could have been anybody there. I just happened to call Hugo, and it could have been my neighbor, it could have been a relative, it could have been anybody, it could have been a student. Just, that's a member of the public, like I've been doing it for many years already. And now it's a little awkward for me to be on this side of the table and also film, but I would set up a camera just like Hugo did and let it roll. And I think it's real important for the public to be informed of our committee meetings and our study sessions. And the board, up to this point, hasn't evidently felt that it was important, so I've been doing it as a public service.
And I don't see anything wrong with videotaping committee meetings, but there are a lot of school districts that don't even record their regular meetings. So,
Well, that's their choice, and it's each individual board.
correct. But it's a discussion if we're going to pay them. We need to have that
Yeah,
discussion.
I would like to have that on an agenda, upcoming agenda, to have that discussion.
Okay, Jeff, can you add that to the next upcoming meeting discussion? The discussion would be to,
Whether or not we want to hire
right,
to do committee meetings.
yes.
Fine.
But remember, Hugo, if we're having committee meetings on Wednesday and studies, no, just the committee, see,
Well, I think you need to know, where does it end then? If there's a committee meeting with one person at this committee or that committee or whatever.
No, it would be,
What?
it would be like a study set. I would just say study sessions and regular board meetings. It wouldn't have to be a committee meeting as in like a,
We have some committees of the whole that I think we're going to maybe be talking about,
because I.
personnel and budget and finance and things like that.
Just a discussion we need
Yes.
to have.
Very good.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so we all done discussing 12.8? Okay, moving along, 13.0 old business. 13.1 school district attorney RFP. Yep.
We were gonna talk about that. I gave it to you, I gave you an example last time we met, and people were gonna look at that and decide if that's something they wanted to do, or if you had a different idea, or...
Well, I think I was the one that seconded somebody else's motion to do this, but I guess it wasn't what I had really had in mind, doing an RFP and having a designated school attorney. I do like the idea of as needed, getting an expert in their field, as the situation needs, and for the, like we have already designated the chair and the super and a couple of our other confidential people, to go to they think that would do the best job for the best topic.
I will agree with that to the point where, Brand, you had mentioned that the firm that we used out of the Twin Cities for certain things for certain issues that we had in our district she was stellar. She was good. She was good. Okay. But I guess, sending this out, there's certain things we can contact. Was it Rat?
But the RFP, the way I understood it, if we do an RFP, we're sticking with one attorney then. We're getting bids and we're gonna choose one attorney and stick with that attorney.
That'd be like a retainer.
I still like the idea of it being at the discretion of the superintendent and the board chair. And I would hope for, consistency purposes that you would pick somebody and you'd stick with them throughout the year rather than, for instance, I don't like the idea of getting one answer from one attorney and then going to another attorney because it puts them in a bad position as well. So I would hope that if you're going to go with an attorney and choose one, that you stick with that one throughout the duration of the year. That would be my recommendation.
So
That's fine
So
with me.
I would just suggest that we take no action on this because we've already made a previous decision during the reorganizational meeting.
Okay. All right. So then 13.1, we're not going to send out an RFP then?
Moving on.
No.
Okay. Very good. 12.2.
13.2.
13.2 board committees.
Normally, and I don't know where this came from, most of the times I'm aware with committees, typically the chair appoints the committees, and I shared my wishes with the chair, and then I'd be interested in the athletic committee and as high school league rep.
The athletic committee, and you said the Minnesota State High School League rep?
Correct.
That's right up your alley, Matt.
I think so too. And I had mentioned I would like to do the Iron Range Youth in Action.
Okay.
And I would like to participate in negotiations as well, but I'd like an alternate for those times that are during the day. In the summertime, I can do it, but if it's into the school year, I have a harder time making those. So if I had an alternate.
I can be your alternate. Or we can have, how many can we have on that negotiations committee? 3?
3.
3's, okay.
You can have more if you want.
All right, I got Matt in there. Do we have someone for, can I just go down the list to community ed? Anyone want that?
We just do the full board, whoever can come.
Yeah,
You're not-
that's very rare, pretty rare.
Okay, all
Don't
right.
they meet once a month? They used to meet once a month.
They do not,
Well, that's in the bylaws anyway.
yeah.
I would be open to that.
I would be an alternate,
do it.
Brandy. If you want to
Okay.
be the primary, I'll be an alternate.
Are you keeping track of this?
I'm trying.
Because I'm getting slow here.
I got it.
This thing is not going real well.
Budget and finance is the next one.
That's
Full
a
board.
full
Full
board.
Buildings and grounds and transportation is the full board.
Wasn't Kelly the safety committee?
Kelly was on.
Kelly wanted to do the safety committee again.
Okay.
Labor
Anybody want to be an
management.
alternate
I can.
for the safety committee?
Yep.
I'm interested in the meet and confer part.
We got Sorkin and Laudiger. Anyone else? Negotiations, where were we at?
Sorkin, Lotiger, and Addy.
Patty?
Oh, you have that, okay.
I'd be willing to be the alternate on that,
On negotiations?
yes.
Policy is a full board.
Policies, full board, staff development, I got Sorkin. Anyone else?
I
How
could attend
frequently?
that one.
You want to do that one, Tom?
Yep,
Which one?
staff development.
IRYA, I got Lotiger. Rec board, I got, Georgia's gonna represent the district. We should probably get one more though.
Can I just throw something out there back at staff development?
Yeah,
I'd like to be an alternate for that, potentially another member for that committee. Just depends on how much all the other ones are meeting.
At this point in time, well, I won't say anything about that. The rec board, we have 2 appointees
Yeah.
there. So who's the other one that's on there now? And who is JoJo replacing? Mark Forty used to be.
yeah, he still is.
Oh, he is?
There hasn't been, a term expired since I've been here, and I've been here 6 years.
So whose place is JoJo taking? Do we have a rec board thing here tonight? Report? The
No,
members would be
no,
on
no.
that. I don't think we did.
I'll email it to you, but I think that has to go out for like a nomination or something.
It has to come, application.
Application. All right, Polly's on the Family Service Collab, Legislative Liaison, Polly. Anyone for the Wellness Committee? It's once a year.
Once a year, when?
Kelly did do that before.
Who did?
Kelly?
Kelly did that, yeah.
If you put her in there?
All right, she's not here, so we'll put her in.
Yeah, so she is for not being here.
Feel free to jump in, John.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should be signing up for anything, given my limited seat. I don't know.
No, you should.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. Go ahead and pop your name in.
Yep.
Anyone else, random, you want to be somewhere?
And if you can't be there, there's alternates for most of them, so.
No.
Don't be afraid now.
I'm not afraid. I ain't scared.
Anyone?
I'd be the alternate for the athletic committee.
Okay. Anything else? Tom, you want anything?
I guess on the athletic, I guess on the athletic committee, I'd be the board member too.
You would?
Yes.
Tommy,
If you need somebody for the rec board.
negotiations.
Oh, excuse me, Polly.
You used to be on negotiations.
I used to be on there, yeah. Somebody else wants to take it, that's all right.
Well, we've got 3, and Matt's an alternate.
Yeah, you got 3 out there now, Bill.
Anything else? If you think of anything else, send the chair a little note, and he'll throw you in.
I could go on the rec board if no one else wanted to.
I think that has to be by, we need the application and appointment to that one.
Oh, okay.
I think. I don't know that.
See, now you want to join
Yeah,
something?
it's like
You
the
can't, we won't
channel
let you.
Yeah, jeez. Take my ball and go home.
Yeah,
We'll
that's
put your
right.
name, we'll put his name down though, and then
Yeah, I
if you
thought that
find
the
out.
respective organizations appointed people.
Yeah, they do.
to the-
Yeah.
They do, but somebody might be still filling out their term before that term is out, so.
My experience is those terms are very informal with their
Yeah.
I kind of got that impression too. All right, that's good.
And then the district curriculum advisory committee,
Oh, missed that one. One minute.
Polly is listed.
Yeah. Anyone else?
And that doesn't exist yet, so I don't know, we have to establish that
Yep.
in the staff development. It'd be a good time so I can,
Anyone else?
now for next year?
Yeah.
My plate is full.
Okay.
Yeah, if you think about it, send Bill a note.
Huh? Ready?
Yep.
14.0 administrative report. Take it
Here we go. Gotta load her up. A little bit on the collaboration. I don't remember what I had mentioned, what I haven't, so we'll, then I gotta add one thing in here. So, tomorrow we're finishing up with Virginia for the public meetings. What's the date we're having the meeting next week? is that the 20th? 20th, we're meeting here just as a board in a study session to talk about elementary and land. On the 25th, we're going to have a joint meeting with Virginia Board to talk about those two things as well. On February 28th, we'll have a special meeting to vote on a resolution to send it to the public. Review and comment is due on the 1st.
Can I ask a question on that?
Fire away.
So the February 28th, the voting night,
Yeah.
do we have to have a plan in place for what's going on the ballot if we vote yes?
Pretty much.
Okay.
There's some leeway there, but you got to have a pretty good idea.
Okay.
And hopefully we come to that next Wednesday?
Yes.
Is that, we're trying to hammer that out?
That would be our hope.
Okay. Is Virginia going to do the same thing?
They already know what they want to do.
Okay.
But we'll talk about that as a joint board meeting on the 25th. Listening sessions, we did Gilbert and Eveleth already. Virginia tomorrow, we've had a bunch of good questions. Attendance hasn't been real great, but the people that have been there, we've got some great questions about a lot of the things that we've talked about tonight. I just did want to mention, this went up today, we have, that did not work. That's not, did it go up?
Mine worked.
Yeah, mine did. That's because I'm in a presentation mode. Well, I put, we gotta advertise a little differently here, but we, everything that we've done this far on this project is under quick links.
Under educational task force or task force, right?
Educational task force. We'll put a different button on there so it's more recognizable, but everything from the start is all the documents and the story to go with them are on the webpage now. So
Jeff, on the very top of the homepage, do you have dates of these meetings? And that would be real helpful.
you want that too? We
In
can do
the
that
past,
too.
I've gone to our website to look for some of these dates of these meetings, and it pops right up on the top.
So if you go to the top so people can see, that would be helpful.
Yeah, I was thinking about putting a button like by register online. We'll have
Another icon under where it says experience Eveleth Gilbert Public Schools, there'd be another
yeah, we're gonna put
button
another
to
button
press
there. Yep.
that would say collaborative talks or
Yep.
something like that. Because I think if it said educational task force, maybe people wouldn't understand what that is. So collaboration or collaboration talks.
Right. A little update on the board book. We approved last time, so on the 14th, they're going to be training Justine, who's going to help the rest of us out. We're going to be setting up devices for everybody so that will all run, and we'll, for the next regular meeting, we'll do a test run. We'll still do it the old way, but we'll start a test run on next meeting. We should be ready to go, so that's rolling. Go ahead, guys. Board honor roll.
All right, second quarter honor roll for the Gilbert campus. We had 7th grade exemplary 4.0 straight A average Marissa Anderson, Eleanor Bjorgi, Gunnar George, Isaac Lindhorst, and Justin Winkler. 7th grade A honor roll 3.6 to 3.99 GPA for second quarter. Anna Baudette, Kyle Baudette, Daisy Borden, Bodie George, Melissa Grahek, Olivia Hammond, Cyrus Johnson, Corinne Canary, Otelia Lorich, Julia Linseth, Jaden Peglow, Jacob Rosfett, Mia Stark, Terrence Swan, Adrienne Thompson, Alex Troutwine, Quinn Ufford, and Lucy Varant, and also Elissa Ziegler. Congratulations to those 7th graders. Moving on to 8th grade, exemplary 4.0, Jake Radosh, Jarrett Delich, Amanda Johnson, Maggie Koskela, and Caitlin Terrell. A honor roll for 8th grade, Joshua Blotnick, Lydia Delich, Braden Grahek, Taylor Haryu, Anna Heinonen, Ava Krauser, Jaden Lang, Delaney Mackey, Morgan Marks, Carter Mavick, Brennan Mewich, Rebecca Mooster, Blair Noyes, Katie Peterson, Kendra Rosati, and Abigail Roush. And congratulations to all those students.
Ninth grade exemplary honor roll, Will Bittman, Drew Nelson, John Schultenberg, Abby Sundich, Emma Ziegler. A honor roll, Eli Bowe, Caitlin Burris, Sophie Hill, Cassidy Jarvala, Lauren Lodiger, Carter Orant, Brandon Pionk, Haley Tarr, Brooke Thean, Nick Troutwine, Carly Yurzek. 10th grade exemplary honor roll, Amara Carey, Elizabeth Jankala, Holly Kutzi, Anna Mills, Elizabeth Mooster, Natalie Petron, Kirsten Rothenberger, Haley Schreiber, Jacob Sickle, Amelia Wagner, Kayla Wainenpaw. A honor roll, Dominic Seeley, Josh Career Oberstar, Emma Crum, Cooper Grahek, Jemmy Grawichicha, Addison Johnson, Caden Krompetich, Maggie Landwehr, Mackenzie Smith, Andrew Terrell, Amara Wilcox, Rachel Woods, Javon Zimmerman. 11th grade exemplary honor roll, one person, Carly George. A honor roll, Molly Albrecht, Robbie Erickson, Stephen Johnson, Michaela Kibbe, Taya Kikowski, Zach Linseth, Ashley Pionk, Elizabeth Stanaway. 12th grade exemplary honor roll, Lauren Day, Kaylee Grahek, Cody Intihar, Julia Lakari, Robbie Lakari, Quinn Mewich. A honor roll, Brody Butalia, Jordana Cortez, Justine Jam, Stephen Kemp, Elena Kraus, Rosemary Kutzi, and Emily Rinney. Congratulations to all of our students.
But along the lines of recognition, I sort of recognize Brendan Mewich, an 8th grader over on the Gilbert campus. He took first in the state in Patriots tennis at the VFW contest.
Wow. Awesome.
So his essay will now be entered into, along with the other 49 state winners on the national level.
Well done.
Good job.
I love to read month over at Franklin. This is a picture of a couple. I've been reading every day. I'm learning how to read. Every day every week there's a class competition for most points, and a couple of winners up there. Some individuals in this picture. We've had a few guest readers. We had this past week we had Mesabi Ranges girls basketball team up there. They went and read to a bunch of different classes. Kids thought that was pretty cool. Just a little bit about what we've been doing in early release at the Franklin. I mentioned earlier tonight that we've been working on ensuring that our RIGS program is being taught at all levels. We've been pretty good in the kindergarten and first grade, and we're making sure that follows them up. Further, we've been the smart panels that we bought last summer. We've been spending a lot of time on making sure that we're proficient with that. We're also the smart, and that's the old, we used to call it Brain Gym back in the day, but we have Maxine Perko does our smart program through Title I. Up in the program, it's a lot of exercise, getting kids going, that kind of thing. But she's working on getting that into everyday lesson plans so kids are up and moving. And also we've had a number of grade level meetings. We do cross grade level meetings like K1 and 1 and 2 to make sure that everybody is on the same page going into next year so that there aren't big gaps. But
We had some 8th graders make the cut for fairness. A couple weeks ago, Sydney Fitzgerald, Sophie Uritich, and Anna Heinonen. Congratulations to them. And just this last Friday, we had 5th graders making the cut for our next character trait of trustworthiness. Aiden Sadness, Layla Harton, Elena Grahek. Congratulations to them. They enjoyed cutting off my time. Last meeting, we talked about Gilbert campus having a program for I Love to Read Month called One Book, One School. Our entire Gilbert campus is reading a book called Fish in a Tree. It's going over very well. Everyone is participating, from cooks and custodians to teachers and all students. It's for I Love to Read Month, and I just want to take a minute to thank Mrs. Brunfeld for organizing the whole thing. There's signs up all over the school. There's things discussing questions on the lunch tables. There's a lot of different things going on within the classrooms around this book. So I really appreciate that going on right now. Thank you.
And at the high school today, we had Mr. Strasser, the IRYA advisor, take a group of students to Make a Difference conference up at Fortune Bay. So that is a picture of our students up there with Mr. Strasser. I was waiting to hear from them how it went, but I never did touch base with Mr. Strasser before the end of the day.
That's all we have.
Alrighty.
Let me check while he's doing his thing, and I'll tell you.
We good?
Yep.
Okay, moving on to 15.0, board member topics. John, anything to say?
No, I think it was covered in the collaboration. I think that was what I was going to talk about, and I thought that was a well-done meeting last Tuesday, and a lot of good information.
Matt?
Just staying busy. The Worcester sports season is winding down, so still watching a lot of games. And I agree with John. I thought the kids did a fantastic job, particularly last Tuesday.
Well, I participated in that book sale that the Close-Up had here at the school, and I was so excited about the yearbooks.
Yeah.
It was the greatest thing ever. I mean, people were coming in to look at the yearbooks and purchase a yearbook, and I was getting messages from people saying, you know, will you grab a 1989 book for me? And I mean, they were yearbooks from 1950 all the way up to 2017. They were selling them for $5 a piece. They were all extra books, you know, numerous extra books. They kept, I think she said, like 2 or 3 copies in the libraries, or in the library here or whatever. But it was pretty cool. I enjoyed looking through them myself. And the kids that were there for the sale were finding different, you know, their friends' parents in the yearbooks and stuff. So it was pretty cool. I like being part of that. And, you know, one thing that people were asking about was if there was any Gilbert yearbooks. So something to think about next year, if, you know, throwing some of those in there if there is some extra, because people were really interested in those yearbooks. And, you know, for instance, people who have had house fires, you know, who lost their yearbook or whatever, it was a perfect opportunity to get one, and so it was pretty cool. I know there was something else I attended that I was going to talk about too, but I can't remember. And I did watch, since I missed the meeting on Tuesday, I did figure out how to get online to watch the Tuesday meeting, the collaborative meeting. And I did see the kids' presentation there as well, and I would agree they did a nice job. And I like the fact that they were giving a lot of their perspective in what they saw and stuff, and what they would like as well.
Can you take that link and maybe...
I had asked.
We'll get it on the website tomorrow.
Yeah, I had requested that of both superintendents too.
Okay.
So.
Virginia Public Access recorded that, so we'll get it.
And it's through Masabi. It's like Masabi TV. I have to go through their website in order to get to it, but.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
I just said that, I mean, I just was at the meeting, very good meeting. I just hope that the 2 districts and the board can maybe come up with a solution or whatever we can do to, you know, get this done, get this collaborative stuff done, you know, and it's fair for all. That's all I can say.
Well, I attended my first Northern St. Louis County Family Services Collaborative meeting last week, And just one thing that I'd like to throw out to board members and the public, administrators and teachers. Essentia Health has a couple of grants that are coming due. One is called the Healthy Schools Challenge, and that is for $2,500 to 6 schools. It's competitive, but then the Service Collaborative voted to match that, so it'd be $5,000 for that one. Anybody can have an idea, but only staff are eligible to apply, so work with any, you're aware of this?
We're aware of it.
Oh, okay. But then they also have another one called the Community Health Needs Grants, which are larger grants. And there's so much money for that too, and when that's gone, it's gone, but that's even more money than the 25 or the 5,000. So you're already aware of it, but people who have any ideas to contact any teacher or administrator. That's all I have.
I'd like to see if our maintenance foreman could attend one meeting a month to attend a board meeting. If there's any questions that the board would have, that could be answered. That's it.
Can you get Mike to?
You can call him too, I mean,
Okay.
that'd be a better idea.
That's it?
That's all we got.
6.0, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Second. Meeting is adjourned.